Ho, ho, ho. It's on. Ugh. I didn't think it was going to happen. I thought it was going to be too cold. Too cold to turn on. Oh my God, you guys, it's like 56 degrees. Oh, everything's backwards. Anyways, where am I at? I'm right here, and I'm right here. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Backwards. Well, listen, you guys. I've got a good one to you. Seems like it might be a long one, but but maybe it's not. I have been, well, besides freezing, I have been working on the Song of Solomon. Okay, you may think it's pretty racy stuff for the Bible. Well, even the Bible think it's pretty racy. The people of the Bible, they call it a bunch of love poems, and they don't even really know why it's in there. I could tell them why. It's steeped in the code, so it has to be in there. It's part of these stories. It's really beautiful in some ways, and it's very telling. It's of when it comes down to it. I mean, it's just really is wonderful. You know that when you do the number ones in all these stories, they set up the scene. It's like the first paragraph, dun, 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 and generally you can know by number three, whether or not anything's going. But usually the first 1, 2, and 3 will tell you what direction things are going in. So like this one here, the Song of Songs, which is Solomon's. Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for thy love is better than wine. Okay, that's very telling. Okay. Because of the savor of the good, the name of the ointment poured forth, therefore do the virgins love thee. All right, well, listen. I'm not going to read these for you. I'm going to have this machine read it for you. We're going to listen to them. All right, this makes it easier. But what she is a rose of Sharon. Okay, and this where we get a lot of imagery, like the lily of the fields and stuff like that. What they're talking about is this is everything, but the greatest thing. She's a daughter, and actually it winds up being sister that he comes up with. That's who it's her soul. It's the story of the mother of us all. And it's kind of a sad story once you figure that part out, that she calls and calls for him. He comes really close, but he picks from the lilies of the field. And it talks about how they come close and then they disappear and they come close. And which way am I going with that? I think I'm going this way with it. So it's like these near misses. It's like they have the perfect couple, but as soon as they get close enough, it's like she hears his call, and next thing you know, he's withdrawn. He's gone. So the connection is never made. So it's like he always gets up to the sixth part of the sixth ladder, and then boom. But she and he both dream through these stories of the perfect one, but that the perfect one is never found. Always. And then at the end, it's like she starts telling the story all over again. She says, "Oh, my love, please be like this roe, this animal." I'd like to tell you that as it goes, but it's just the rose of Sharon. Sharon means on the plain, so it's she's outside. The color black is being used. Look at her because she is black. Black is the intellectual side, means that she's representing, this outside force of religion. That this is the horse. He would rather have that. And the idea that, she's settling, they're all settling for love over wine. And then a little bit later, she's telling her, listen, I'll bring you up to my mother's. I'll take you up to her place, 'cause this is where they want to go. In the long run, it's, oh, if only you would come to me, if only you would come to me, I would take you to my mother's place, and, some really cool stuff would happen then. But he never really makes it over to that other side. It just seems as if, where's he at? Oh, he's down in his garden. He's playing with the lilies of the field. The virgins do love him so. And so Solomon's, is turned on by the lower side while his true lover waits. And she tells all these girls, the daughters of Jerusalem, which is the chakra system, don't wake him. Not until he, not until he wants it, not until he pleads, Please, please. It's not till he pleads. It's the same story that, Christ, the Christ bearer. And, I always bring him in because I don't think anybody ever hears about him, and I want you to hear about him. But he was not ever brought in until he pleaded. And when he started to slip after carrying the baby, getting heavier and heavier, the Christ child, the story is he, oh, God, help me. And so, till if you never get to that place, you won't get there. You have to have had enough. That's what it's talking about. So all through the story, when he comes close, then he disappears. She goes looking for him. And where's the one that my soul loveth? Where's my beloved? My soul cherishes so much, The watchmen find her, and she tells him, I don't know if they can. Next thing you know, she's, sort of like bringing him back, and I'm picturing in my mind, he must be knocked out. She must have found him in some kind of a stupor. But then within her care, and you often feel like this if you ever drank and slipped over into the ether. How did I get home? What happened? All that, you may even drove all about 20 miles and this and that, but I think it's this person she's talking about. She found you, she brought you back, but she just told all the girls, don't you wake him up, not until he pleads. But she wants him so you can tell he loves him. She loves him so, and he really loves her, but he's just like, oh man, all these other things, all these little other fields, so much just as fun, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I'm not going to have you can go and read this. It's a beautiful little story. It's got these funny little things that it calls its body, but it's really talking. There's a part about turtle, the words of the turtle or sound, the voice of the turtle is heard in these lands. Oh my goodness. This part about how she is black and comely. Comely means that she's fair to look at. And that's another thing I want to check on, all right, when you go and read this. I am black, but comely, O you daughters, as the tint of Kedar. Black means dark. That means that they didn't use them. They're not using their tint to find things. Black is the west side. This is, if you were, they talk a lot about horses, but there's a world's, the intellectual side of us. The west is black, and this is the outside of us. This is that kingdom of consciousness, this outside world. That's why it's black. She represents black. She is really the spiritual side of us that would go from the black horse to the red horse, to the pale horse, which is the physical side of us. The red horse was the emotional side, and our right side of us is the spiritual side. Now, the spiritual side can be run by the black horse, and it can be run by the white horse. We want the white horse. That's the good side. She's on the black side. She said she would rather have her love over wine, okay? And that someone would give away their life for love. They're giving away their life because they're dead. talking about these guys being these vessels of death. This is scapulas or seppulas. That word I can't say. It's mentioned in here. How the historians overlooked all of these clues to how to read our Bible is right in the story. It's absolutely wonderful. It's wonderful symbolism, and the writing is absolutely amazing. You know, when the sons of God, all right, those those guys, when they found the daughters of men, they found them fair. Fair is the lowest, is the next lowest thing. That's why they came down. It's the lowest because they found the daughters of men. This is not mothers and fathers. This is a husband wife team. And well, anyways, they fell in love with them. Went to being their sisters. It's crazy stuff, but because it's all you. It's an electrical situation about you. But in the story, it sounds a little freaky. All right. So they found that it was, they kept going. It's the outside. She goes down into the garden. She goes down in the garden of nuts, And it sounds dirty when they said that they touched her box and it stirred her, on the inside. Didn't make her have bowel movements, which is what it sounds like, but it stirred her deep inside. When the king calls her, that's an outside thing. It says King Solomon. All right. So she's chapter 2. So chapter 1 would be the one where it introduces. This is what we want. This would be what we're looking for. It's the idea, and it's told by a female. It's mostly a female. It's this female's voice coming through most all the time. All right. And 2 is going to be, here she is saying that I am the rose of Sharon and the lily of the valleys. This is telling you that she's from the outside. She's not on the inside. She's the lily among thorns. So she is the when you're sowing your seeds in the thorns, so you're not getting the right sowing. So she's the part of that. So that's beautiful. She lives among the trees of the wood. She is as the apple tree among the trees of the wood. So is my beloved among the sons. I sat down under his shadow with great delight, and his fruit was sweet to my taste. Sounds a little something going down. But let's see. This is about Chapter 2 is going to be about the creation of both, having both sides inside you working. You are going, one side's going to talk about the other, but they're there. They're just, is one going to be dormant, or is it going to work together on this? And so what we'll do is we'll say, he brought me into the banquet house of his banners. This is, here is number 6. It says, his left hand is under my head, and his right hand doth embrace me. That means this is when they're connected, because this is about, because Solomon started out good, in his younger years. This is when his mother crowned him, and you'll find that out. But in chapter 2, number 5, when it comes to stay me with flagons, comfort me with apples, for I am sick of love. It sounds, she is sick of love. If you could understand that she's tired of the love now, all right, she would rather get over the love, but she would, she'd rather have the wine. If she would only come in, you won't know this until you start getting over into the rest of these chapters, but she would like to give him spiced wine from her mother. Remember, it was the mother that wanted her daughter to go and get the head of John the Baptist. That is a good story. It's not a bad story. It's how this works. It's this link and this chains, these daughters. It's shock, but this is a female, all the female side. But sometimes males have to play that game. All right. In chapter 2, it shows him leaping, like he's like some gazelle coming across the mountains. This is number 2. This is that animal of him coming, looking through. Look, he's coming up to our wall. And he's looking through the lattice at us. He's looking through the veil at them. Because she's, they're inside this little, this thing. And it's calling to her, hey, baby, wake up. Come on, run off with me, sugar baby. I'm going to have you. We're going to have a great old time. She was like, oh, my God, oh, my God, oh, my God. And she goes and runs to him, and he's disappeared. What happened to him? Oh, he just went back down to the garden, playing around with lilies. Damn it. So it's like every time she gets there, oh, he gets right there. Oh, my God. Let's see what happens. That was 9. He says, my beloved, like a roe or a young hart, which is a young stag of deer. Behold, he standeth behind our wall. He looketh forth at the windows, shewing himself through the lattice. My beloved spake and said to me, rise up, my love, my fair one, and come away. For lo, the winter is past, and the rains are over and gone. The flowers appear upon the earth. The time of the singing of birds is come. The voice of the turtle is heard in our land. Oh my God, the fig tree putteth forth its green figs. Remember when they say that, when you see the fig tree putting forth, then you know it's time. Have you ever heard that in any other part of the Bible? Oh, my dove. Oh, my dove, that are in the clefts of the rock, in the secret places of the stairs. Let me see thy countenance. Let me hear thy voice. For sweet is thy voice, and thy countenance is comely. But settling for the lower. How many times have we all settled for the lower just for the fact that they ain't nothing better? Well, there is something better if you knew it. That's what she would say later on. Oh, if you only knew, if you only just, come on. Here we are. We got foxes. This is number 6. Take us, the foxes, the little foxes that spoil the vine. For our vines have tender grapes. My beloved is mine, and I am his. He feedeth among the lilies. Until the daybreak, until the shadows come. And number 17 becomes 8, which is a control. So it's like this here. This Bether, this name Bether, the mountains of Bether, means division. So they're still divided. The body hasn't come together. The mind and the soul, she and he haven't come together yet. She's still beckoning him. It's like, but she can't. She's writing all these beautiful things to him. It's like it's her dream. She can't do anything. She has to submit. He has to say something. That's what this whole thing is about. She just sits there and waits. She sits there and, just waits and waits and waits. But she tries to, this comes from her mind. So she tries to let them know that I'm here. Let them have this smell, all these wonderful smells and stuff, It's like, hey, let them know I'm here, So that's chapter 2. They're not very long. All right. That was only 17 things long. So after on this one here, this was chapter 2, there was division. So that's 2. 2 is 1, and that's the way it is. It's just all right. Number 2. Because 3 would be where they would start coming together. So chapter 3, by night on the bed I sought him, whom my soul loveth. I sought him, but I found him not. So that sets off. That's going to set off the whole story, the whole thing. All right. I will rise now and go about the city, in the streets and in the broad ways. I will seek him whom my soul loveth. I sought him, but I found him not. But too. The city, everything's outside. When you do that city and country, stuff like that, and you're going out in the broad streets, they're outside. This is an outside thing. Remember, she's black. She's black. She's not a black person. She's representing the intellectual side, the black horse, because of the sun has looked upon her. Don't look at me because the sun had looked down, had whatever. Just crazy. And that turtle. All right, you know what? So they're all, I think they're talking about turtle dove. No, they have a whole nother word for turtle dove. They have a whole nother name for birds, doves, and stuff. The turtle. You have to think about that. All right. Just like I've been thinking about that funny little song, the animals that came from doozies, and, elephants and kangaroosies. All right. So the kangaroo has a pocket. Can carry something else, all right? So it's like this marsupial type of thing that, it could be like, something else, all right? So there's like the two of the kind, and there's this elephant with the long neck or long nose. But I think that would be a symbol that's age old, both of those things. So, but other than that, a turtle, the voice of the turtle being heard, this idea is having a shell. We always have to get rid of our garments to get over on this other side, and you'll see that when you get rid of your garment, you've taken off your shoes. It's an inside thing where you're naked. I'm not sure where I was getting with that. All right, but anyways. I know what it was. When you come out of your shell, if you come out of your shell, a turtle, there's this idea, that, instead of frogs, all these things that are close to the ground and all that these things they call us, that we are these animals and stuff like that. Could be the reason why the world runs off the back of a turtle and some of these ancient things, because it's really we think that how the world's going to come out, and the more flat-headed people thinking, the flatter our world is going to become, and within some kind of, I don't know, thought for a moment. But anyways, let's see, chapter 3. She winds up finding him. She's church's kingdom come. She finds him, but she comes and she charges her children, her daughters of Jerusalem. Hate. Do not wake him up. Do not stir in any way, unless he calls. All right. Who is this that cometh in the wilderness like pillars of smoke, perfumed with myrrh and frankincense, with all the powers of the merchant? With all the powders of the merchant. So yeah, this is him coming. This is 6. Behold, in the bed is a Solomon's bed. 80 valiant men are about it, and valiant. They are the valiant of Israel. So that's 60. Valiant. Number 6 is what it is. And this is number 7. And they held swords. Swords upon it. Number 9. King Solomon made himself a chariot of wood of Lebanon, which is some kind of, it's white. White means Lebanon having to come from the north, from the mountains. And that's what they think it comes from. It's about the snow-packed peaks. So it's the top part. He made the pillars thereof of silver, and the bottom therefore of gold, and the covering thereof purple, and in the midst thereof he paved with love. And that was for the daughters of Jerusalem. All right. Go forth, all ye daughters of Zion. Behold, King Solomon with the crown wherein his mother crowned him in the day of his espousal and the day of the gladness of his heart. So this is whenever he connected. This was talking about that. So this is chapter 3. So yeah, this was behold, this is when he got it, you know. All right. So that was like a little soliloquy, you know, a little in-betweener. So here's chapter 4. 4 will be about worlds, you know. Behold, thou art fair, my love. Behold, thou art fair. Thou hadst doves for eyes within thy locks of hair. Thou hadst doves, wait, thy hair is like a flock of goats that appear from Mount Glede. Glede. They said this Glede is a heap of stones. It's a testimony. I never read that place, but it's in Genesis somewhere. But he was talking about all these things are being within. Your teeth are like that of a flock of sheep that are even shorn. For each came up from the washing. There was the lips are like the thread of the scarlet. Pomegranate. Thy neck is like the Tower of David builded. Oh, so what he's doing is he's number 4. He's telling what she looks like, and it's not a pretty sight. All right, when you think about it, you know. But later on, you'll find out that because she winds up being a breastless sister of the brothers, because she's never being used. They said, "What can we do with her?" Well, if she's a wall, we should build some kind of silver palace on top of her. You know, that's what we should do with her. You know, and or we'll if she's a door, we'll put a box around her. All right, and she becomes this woman, this place, this keeper of the gate. She becomes she's sitting there like Cinderella, waiting for someone to come and ask to be drawn some water. And she asked her, draw me up, draw me, please, You'll find that in there. It's just beautifully written. But again, he has to draw her. He has, that's the whole idea behind, making women like, second-rate citizens and stuff like that, because they misread this part of the this isn't the woman. She has to wait. She's the carnal mind is not subject to the laws of God, nor can they be. We see in these books here, we have to trick him out of it. He has to want it, because really tricking him is the idea that you aren't tricking yourself. You can't betray yourself. But the idea is that this is a particular path that you take to kill off the old side of you and connect mom and dad together, calling it the way. Heads of gold and neck of silver bracelets, or chain. You changed me, you caught me, and all it took was one eye, one chain, one gold chain around your neck. Chapter 4 is talking about your breasts are like this and this and that. Don't let all that stuff fool you or anything. They're all talking about your chakra system. And he says, I'd like to see it be more like, like a palm tree, so I can go up and play with the boughs of your, and do these locks. There's these locks all the time. They get mixed up with hair. But we know they say hair a lot, but locks is those locks. Those are the chakra system. That's another situation where they're locked. Do not rouse him, lest he, please. Those things are locked. Boom, 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 boom. That's it. That's their charge. She's charged them with that. All right. It's just so beautifully written, you guys. Come with me from Lebanon. He's calling her. He says, oh, come on, come to me. Come with me from Lebanon. So he's like taking her from the high place. It's like, ugh, Thou hast, what is this with my heart? Here it is, number 9. Thou hast, what is this? Thou art fair. This idea of chapter 4, thou art fair, thou art fair, thou art fair. It just ain't fair. It is fair. It's showing that the whole thing, this whole force, this is the lower side. This is the downfall of most all of us, is that we get caught up in our emotions and we feed from the lower, making us all children of hell. All right, until you can escape from all that, once you learn it, what it is. Thou had something, my heart. I would say that someone has taken away, but taken his heart. My sister, my spouse, thou hast, you have ravished is the word. Yeah. Thou hast ravished my heart with one of thine eyes, with one chain of thy neck. How fair is thy love, my sister, my spouse. How much better is thy love than wine, and the smell of the smell of thine ointments than all thy spices. Ooh, taking smell over, the sweetness. My God. Thy lips, O my spouse, drop into honeycomb. He's mixing honey and milk. Just very beautiful writing. But the idea is that he is taking on the lower. There's a no, and I'm going this way and that way, and I keep going that way, Here is what he says. He goes here, This is where a man starts talking, and this is number 15, which is a 6, up on the top of the ladder after everyone's gathered and stuff like that. Because what she's done is this, she's caused all of her plants to make all these smells to try to get him to come to him, and, kind of be drawn towards, her, her love, right? And this is what he says. He goes, is what he thinks. I see like a fountain of gardens, a well of living waters, and streams from Lebanon. Awake, O north wind, and come thou south. Blow upon my garden, that the spices that thereon flow out. Let my beloved come into his gardens and eat his pleasant fruits. Oh my God. All right, so that was number 6. All right, this is, chapter 4. Chapter 4. Trying to get him to come to him. This is when Gog and Magog. This is coming from the emotional side. This is where this a pulse comes. Say, don't you think it's about time? Ain't it about time to come home? But it's like a hint, type of thing. And because, again, she's not allowed to interfere, but you can see that the love is still there, So we have chapter 5. Chapter 5 is going to be about the body, right? So it said, come up into my body, my sister, my spouse. I have gathered my myrrh with my spice. I have eaten my honeycomb with my honey. I have drunk thy wine with my milk. Eat, O friends, drink, yea, drink abundantly, O beloved. So 5 is brethren, the body. They're all coming in, so he's just telling them to all eat and drink. The woman says, I sleep, and in my heart I waketh. It is the voice of my beloved that knocketh, saying, open to me, my sister, my love, my dove, my undefiled, for my head is filled with dew, and my locks with the drops of the night. I have put off my coat. How shall I put it back on? I have washed my feet. How shall I defile them? My beloved put his hand upon the hole of the door, and my bowels were moved for him. I rose up to open my beloved, and my hands dropped with myrrh, and my fingers with sweet-smelling myrrh upon the handles of the lock. I opened to my husband, but my beloved had withdrawn himself and had gone. My soul failed when he spoke, and I sought him, and I could not find him. I called him, but he gave me no answer. The watchmen that went out about the city found me and smote me, wounded me. The keepers of the walls took away my veil from me. I charge you, all daughters of Jerusalem, if you find my beloved, that you tell him that I am sick of love. What is the beloved more than another beloved, O thou fairest among women? Why is there beloved more than another beloved, that thou dost so charge us? My beloved is white and ruddy, the chiefest among 10,000. His head is of the most fine gold, and his locks are bushy and black as raven. His eyes are of the eyes of doves, and his rivers and waters washed with milk and fitly set. His cheeks are as a bed of spices, so sweet with flowers. His lips like lilies, dripping sweet smelling myrrh. His hands are like gold rings set with the beryl. His belly is that of a bright ivory overlaid with sapphires. His legs are the pillars of marble set up on the sockets of fine gold. His countenance is Lebanon, excellent as his cedars. His mouth is most sweet, yea, he is altogether lovely. This is my beloved, and this is my friend, O daughters of Jerusalem. That was it. That was number 7. Number 5. Number 5. So she put out a call for him, this is my man. This is what he looks like, little APB. He's gone. Damn it, missed him again. Oh, why do you keep fucking with him? He's my man. He's mine. He's mine. It's worth all this trouble, So we get to chapter 6. Chapter 6 is, that was the gathering, 6 might be the gathering, but this is usually the top of the ladder. This is when they keep running. They don't seem to like pop over to the other side. But it says, we'll see what happens. Chapter 6, it says, whether is thy beloved one, O thou fairest among women. Oh, whether is their beloved turneth aside, that we may seek him with thee. My beloved has gone down to the garden, to the beds of spice, to feed in the garden, and to gather lilies. I am my beloved's, and my beloved is mine. He feedeth among the lilies. It's just a shame. Just a shame. Poor lady. All right. Turn thy eyes away from me. Down the peace, pomegranate. These are 60 queens. He goes about talking about her again. What he looks like, all this pomegranate and all this business. He's got all this, It's still this goats show up. Goats not necessarily a good thing. The teeth are like flocks of sheep. That's not really like a good thing. It's a type of devouring of grass. Also, they talk about this banner, having, with war. So it winds up that, this is not always a good sign. And we've heard this idea where, she comes with this banner that has an army behind it. It's just really strange. But she does, because when she shows up on 7, her army's here to kick some ass, So, chapter 6, there's only 13 of them. So what we get here is looking forth to the mornings and the fair. So I went down to garden. I went here. Here she goes too. Number 11. I went down into the garden of nuts to see the fruits of the valley and to see whether the vine flourished, the pomegranates had budded, or if ever I was aware my soul made me like the chariots of Abimabad. And that means my people are liberal. All right, so, it's not a good thing. This is the idea that when you're liberal, that means you're just taking things by the word. So they're just not getting it. All right. Return, 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 return. They get to number 13. As it were in the company of two armies. They were saying, "What do you want to have anything to do with this?" Because they keep seeing it as two. That's what this two things are coming in. They're looking at as two armies, and this was a conversation that turn away thine eyes from me, for thine have overcome me. The hairs are like flocks. Okay, are beautiful, my love. Comely as Jerusalem, and terrible as an army. Here we go. Number 4, thou art beautiful, O my love. And there's some taraz. Comely as Jerusalem. That means, you're just as fair and beautiful. Comely means fair and beautiful as Jerusalem. So it's not Jerusalem. It's a likeness. All right. And it has terrible as an army with banners. Turn away thine eyes from me, for they have overcome me. All right. And thy teeth, and thy pomegranate, and the 60 queens liked her, and 80 concubines, so that's 6 and 8. And virgins without numbers. My dove, my undefiled, is but one. She's the only one of her mother. She's the choice one of her that bare her. The daughter saw her and blessed her, yea, and the queens and the concubines, and they all praised her. Who is she that looketh forth as the morning fair? I see, I'm sorry. Who is she that looketh forth as the mornings? Fair as the moon, clear as the sun, and terrible as an army with banners. All right. I went down into the garden of nuts to see the fruits of the valley and to see whether the vine flourished and if the pomegranates budded. Or ever if I aware my soul of evidence. Oh, I've already read all of this stuff to you before. All right. Well, what happens is that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a world, and this is where she keeps wanting to return. Please return, come home. Remember that idea of being the prodigal son. In these stories are all, and what they're asking for us is the return of the son, the return of Jesus, the return of you. Return. That's what we got out of 6. Please. That's the plead, but no one's pleading. This guy's rich. All right. This is what he does. He rents out his vineyard. Here's 7. How beautiful are thy feet with shoes, O princess daughter. The joints of thy thighs are like jewels, the work of the hands of cunning workmen. Thy navel is like that of a round goblet, which is warmeth, that wanteth no liquor. Thy belly is like a heap of wheat set upon the lilies. That thy 2 breasts are like 2 young roes that are twins. Thy neck is like a tower of ivory. Listen, usually this is a good usual thing going on. They're describing this ball. They're describing her now again. All right. When they say the hair, the hair, this is what sticks out of your head. This would be your skin, basically. Your hair is an outside projection. It's an outside, says it's purple. It means it's, it's bruised. All right, it's a beautiful thing. The bruising is a very important part about this, about bruising the heel. The heel is an interesting thing because even Jacob comes out holding on to Esau's heel. And Jacob becomes the other part of Esau, just like um, Abel isn't the other part of what's his face, right? Cain, right? Because these come in pairs. Let's see, what do we get out of this one here? How fair and how pleasant art thou, O love for delights. This is the stature is like a palm tree, and thy breasts two clusters of grapes. I said, I will go up to the palm tree, and I will take hold of the boughs thereof. Now also thy breasts shall be as clusters of the vine, and the smell of the nose of apples. And the roof of thy mouth like the best wine of thy beloved, and goeth down sweet, causing the lips of those that are asleep to speak. I am my beloved's, and his desire is towards me. Come, my beloved, let us go forth into the field. Let us lodge in the villages. Let us get up early and check the vineyards, and let us see if the vines flourish, or whether the tender grapes appear, and that my pomegranates get forth. There will I give thee my love. All right. And so this is what he's been asked to do. This is, come do this, get all this, and I'm gonna give it up to you right here when you do that. So what is chapter 8? He goes here, says, O thou wert my brothers that sucked from the breast of my mother, when I should find thee without, I would kiss thee. Yea, I should not be despised. I should not be despised. Remember, you're going to have one master. You're going to hate one. You're going to love one. You're going to despise the other. This one here, this is number 8. It's going to talk about this controlling situation. And I think you might get this idea that jealousy is coming in. And again, she goes out looking for him. She can't find him. She charges the girls, don't do it. Don't wake him up. Don't do anything again, She says, what he should be. His left hand should be under my head, and his right hand should be, embracing her. This is when things were working right. That she dreamt it first, and that his left hand was under it, but that was a dream. That's what she wants. It's talking about what it is. It should be. It says, this is number 3. His left hand should be under my head, and his right hand embrace me. I charge ye, O daughters of Jerusalem, that ye stir not him up, nor awake my love, until he please. Here's number 6. Set me as a seal upon thine heart, and seal upon thine arm. For love is strong as death. Jealousy is cruel in the grave, as is cruel as the grave. The coals thereof, the coals of fire, which hath a most vehement flame. Many waters cannot quench love, neither can the floods drown it. If a man would give all his substance, all of his house for love, it would utterly be contemptible. So it goes to, we have a little sister. So So she's abandoned, all right? She's in this situation, this woman has been abandoned. And it's kind of sad, but now the brothers are checking them out because they're not connected. Remember, they're now all of them are still on the lower side, and they said, "Look here, check us out. Our sister ain't got no titties." Now watch, here it goes. "We have a little sister, and she hath no breasts. What shall we do for our sister in this day when she, in the day when she shall be spoken for?" He said, "If she be a wall, we'll build upon her a palace of silver. And if she be a door, we will enclose her with boards of cedars." All right. Kind of make a. And then she comes in, she goes, "I am a wall, and my breasts like towers. Then was I, then was I in his eyes, as one that found favor." Solomon had a vineyard in this place. It was Bahaba, the name. It means possessor. He was possessor of a lot. All right. He let out the vineyard unto keepers. Everyone for the fruit thereof was to bring 1,000 pieces of silver. My vineyard, which is mine, is before me, thou, O Solomon. But there must have 8,000, and those that kept of the fruit, they had to do 200. So people had to pay more. So it become like this is an outside thing. So this is the last of the story. All right, this is as far as it goes. All right. So the very last things it says, we have number 13 and 14, which is number 4 and 5. It's going to talk about the world first. "Thou that dwellest in the gardens, thou companions, hearken to thy voice. Cause me to hear it." All right. Then number 14, "Make haste, my beloved, and be that like a roe, that young hart upon the mountain of spices." So it starts all over again with, there's my love. He's dancing, he's skipping across the mountains, and he shows back up at the window and stuff. So there's this, when are you going to do it? When are you ever going to come back home type of story. It's sad. It's a sad story. And you can see that she's just sitting there waiting, like a caged thing. That's what they have this idea of, a bird in a cage. She's been, that's why these stories show, we're going to catch the beautiful part of her, and we're going to hide her. We're going to cage her, and we're going to give you the whore, or we're going to get the mean stepsister or something like that in its place. And that's what we've been given. And so this is a very telling story. The number system runs right through it, all through and through. It's just absolutely beautiful. And you could tell by the way the stories went that the chapters also follow the code. It's just a wonderful thing to know these things, because you'll find that that's pretty mechanical. And it takes away all ideas that somebody just thought this up and wrote it up. They had to say, okay, I have to have a word that means this, and I have to have a word that means that, and I have to use a number that means this. And I mean, this is pretty complicated for, people who were just fishermen and farmers and, rock collectors and stuff. Some pretty cool shit, you guys. And that beautiful story has been cracked now. No one has cracked it. No one knows what that story meant. And all it is this idea of, the right side is not allowed to fuck around with the left side unless the left side says something. This is the whole point behind mistreating women all through these ages and putting them down as that, they are worthless, when to find out that they are the key to this salvation. Absolutely. I love you guys. I hope you guys let me know if you're getting any of this. Love you.